Hi everyone, I'm Erin Dugan from Fox 56 Sports and welcome to Week 9 of high school football on MyTV WQMY. Tonight, two teams battling for playoff spots collide as Western Wayne travels to Valley View in a Lackawanna Football Conference Division II game. The Wildcats have a new coach in Randy Wolf, who was previously the defensive coordinator at Delaware Valley and played for former coach Nick Donato at North Pocono. The last time Western Wayne made the playoffs was in 2014 when they lost to Northern Lehigh in the Eastern Conference. Valley View is one of the hottest teams in the conference, winning 4 out of their last 5 games. The Cougars are looking to get back into the district playoffs for the first time since 2012. It's time now to get you out to tonight's rivalry of the week.
Western Wayne has lost its last 2 games after winning 4 in a row. The Wildcats are talented but young, and the expectations are the same each week.
So it's not really in my DNA to lose. I'm not a big fan of it, like anybody else. So that first week we made very clear that this wasn't acceptable. I mean, I don't care who we're playing or what week we're playing. We're going out to win. We're expecting to win every week.
The Valley View is the hottest team in the league. The Cougars are coming off a big win over North Pocono last week.
I just think our kids have been making plays. Our seniors have been making big plays for us. Really, every facet of the game's been working, so we're hoping we can keep that going.
It's a Lackawanna Football Conference Division II showdown.
Great way to start the game. Jake Osborne just heads right up the center of the field and then explodes through a couple of would-be tackles. Jogo Valdez comes to his side. Touchdown. Sorry, another nice return.
Watching the Rivalry of the Week on MyTV WQMY, presented by Wendy's.
From John Hens' Memorial Stadium in Peckville, it's Week 9 of high school football on MyTV WQMY as we get set for Western Wayne and Valley View. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Ide. Erin Dugan will join us shortly on the sidelines, and my partner in the booth from NPFSports.com, Chris Kaharski. And Chris, a lot of playoff points for both teams on the line tonight and a lot to play for.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Bob. I mean, this time of the year, you are playing to get into the playoffs or you're playing for a seeding. Valley View at this point pretty much is in. They're trying to get a home game now. Western Wayne, they're trying to get in that 3A tournament. They have a great chance. A win tonight would really solidify that chance.
Let's talk about the Wildcats. They start out very well, 5-1. They lost 2 in a row. They're going to rely on their quarterback tonight, Scott Walk.
Listen, Scotty Walk is a great kid. He's a great person, but most of all, he's a great quarterback. A lot of times they'll talk about quarterbacks and that they're athletic, they're this, they're that. He's just a great quarterback. He's been, of course, a starter at Western Wayne since he was a freshman, but he has just developed into one of the most accurate passers I have seen in District 2 in many years. He's actually given Western Wayne a chance to win every game they've been in this season.
For Valley View, it's their defense that put up some big numbers last week against North Pocono in an upset. Brian Hudak is our Falcon Oil Spotlight Player of the game.
Brian Hudak is a kid who had so much potential when he was younger, and he finally realized that potential, especially over the last 4 weeks. He has led a Valley View defense that has really put the stop on the run, and they already had the secondary. They knew they had kids back there. It was a question up front, could they do it? And Brian Hudak has been the leader. He's getting looks from colleges now, but it hasn't been just him. He's kind of been one guy of a group of kids who have really stepped up their game over the last several games.
This is the first meeting between these two schools since 2009, and there's a lot on the line. It's senior night at John Hens' Memorial Stadium. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineup and the opening kick.
You're watching the Rivalry of the Week on MyTV WQMY, presented by Wendy's.
As the day turned to night at John Hens' Veterans Memorial Stadium, it was inevitable the rain would be upon us, and as the teams warmed up, that's exactly what happened. And we have a little bit of precipitation in the air around Peckville. Welcome back, everyone. We are getting set for tonight's game. Western Wayne has won the toss, but the other big story of tonight is the weather, and to give us a little weather report is Erin Dugan.
Well, Bob, of course, as you mentioned, we knew this was coming. It started to rain just about a half an hour ago, starting to come down a little bit harder now. It's going to rain until right up about 9:30, so pretty much the entire game time. As you can see here, that I'm no meteorologist, Bob, but that's a big blanket of rain headed our way. But it will wrap up around 9:30 if that's any consolation.
Yeah, right at when the game ends, Chris. And we'll talk about how that is going to affect. The other factor is the wind. It's maybe, I'd say, 10 to 15 miles per hour coming from the south. Western Wayne will be going into the wind to begin this game. Walk and Sauter to receive, and the kick goes out of bounds from Gillow, and let's see what they're going to do. We'll probably bring it out. So let's take a look at the starters for Western Wayne Wildcats. 5-3 overall. The leading rusher on the year is the sophomore, 379 yards, Kobe Sauter. Wide receivers getting a lot of work this week. Dylan Walk, 26 catches, 390 yards, and 5 touchdowns. 4 sophomores and a senior start. The left tackle, Bailey Williams, is the only man with experience on that offensive line. So, Chris, this is a team that wants to throw the ball a lot, 145 through the air per game. They average 19 points per game. They're going into the wind. They're going to come out throwing it quickly in and out of the hands of Kilgallen, who takes a little bit of a pop from Ethan Carey. How's the wind going to affect Western Wayne?
The last thing Coach Randy Wolf wanted was wind and rain tonight, because that plays against what Western Wayne's strengths are, Bob. And obviously going into the wind to start this drive off, they're going to have to try to get to a good start. They're going to have to use the running game to balance out that passing game and keep Valley View honest. But right there you saw a big hit by Carey. Valley View's defensive backs are very physical, Bob, so Western Wayne's receivers are going to have to keep their head on a swivel.
Valley View has 15.5 sacks on the season. First run of the night, and that is Sauter. Loses about a yard, 3rd down on the way. Here is the defense for Valley View. Up front, Angelo Mazzoni, 38 tackles on the season. He has 3 of those sacks. Sam Pitzman having a great couple of games, 66 tackles on the year. 50 of those are solo. He has 2.5 sacks. And the secondary will get a workout tonight. Ethan Carey, 49 tackles, has 1 interception.
Yeah, Bob, the rain is starting to come down harder now. We expected this, like Aaron said, and we'll see how it affects the slippery ball. That's always a factor in rainy weather.
Walk trying to get it into the flat. It goes incomplete. And the struggles continue for the Wildcats on offense. Lost last week to Scranton Prep 36-0.
So Valley View got what they wanted, Bob. The quick 3 and out. They're going to get the ball with the wind at their back. And here's the other part of this game. You got to be careful if you're Western Wayne. Valley View very good at the kick return and the punt return. They've scored several times, and they got a couple guys who can get it done.
Carey and Osborne deep. Bailey Walk will do the honors for punting. Rush right up the middle. They almost get to it. This will be Osborne. Trying to track him down. They're going to run him out of bounds. And Valley View will set up their first possession at the 34-yard line. So here come the Cougars, averaging 18.8 points per game. Trayon Jones has turned things around. He's their leading rusher, 291 yards on the year, 3 of those for a touchdown. He has 70 carries, just a sophomore. Jake Osborne, who had the ball right there, 15 catches on the year, 2 touchdowns. He also can run the ball. He has 8 carries for 37 yards. Big and experienced up front. Brian Durkin has moved from his guard position to tackle. He's just a sophomore, 6'4", 245. So here come the Cougars, who have not scored a lot lately. It's been their defense leading the way. This is Evan Carey out of the backfield. He brings it up for 8 yards.
Evan Carey's very dynamic player. They're going to line him up all over the field. And, you know, coming into the season, Bob, they thought he might be the starting tailback, but they've kind of shared that position with several players. But the bottom line for Coach Hawanen is they want to get the ball into both Carey's hands and Osborne's hands as much as possible, because those kids are dangerous in the open field.
Evan Carey, 50 rushes on the year, 252 yards. 4 of those have been scores. So Chandler Fuller is the junior quarterback. He's run a lot lately, more than throw the ball. This is Jake Osborne, and your not going to catch him. Touchdown Valley View, second play of the game, 58 yards for Jake Osborne.
That's definitely a different look there. I've watched Valley View on film. You don't see Osborne get the ball too much in the backfield from a tailback position, but look, give Valley View's offensive line credit. They just opened up a hole that was gigantic, and once Osborne got past the linebackers, then his speed just kicked in, and an easy score for Valley View here on their first possession.
So it looks like Fuller will do the extra points tonight. They're going to actually run a fake, go for two. Fuller takes it, and Western Wayne does a nice job on the two-point conversion. It is no good. But it's the Cougars who strike first here on their home turf. It's senior night, and they lead 6-0 with 10 minutes flat left in the first quarter.
You're watching the Rivalry of the Week on MyTV WQMY, presented by Wendy's.
Well, the rain has started up finally in northeastern Pennsylvania, making its way from the south, and Valley View has scored the first touchdown of the night here. 6-0. They went for two on a little fake, but the rain is starting to get heavy. Gillow again, a little squibber this time. Western Wayne does a nice job just to fall on it at the 29-yard line. So Scott Walk comes out and company. Walk on the season, 1,100 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, but it was Valley View, Chris. And you mentioned Osborne out of the backfield, and he's got a lot of speed once he gets in the open.
Yeah, Jake's having a great year, great senior season. Coming into the 2016 season, Valley View knew what they had in the secondary, and again, between him and Evan and Ethan Carey, they're playmakers, and you saw Osborne make a play right there for 6 points.
This is the guy you want to get out into space, walk out the quarterback, picks up positive yardage, past the 35.
Scotty Walk's not a speedster, but he is a very smart player, so they're not afraid to let him run the football. He'll find the right hole. That was a nice first down gain for the Wildcats. And here's the thing, Bob. Western Wayne's going to have trouble stopping the Valley View offense, so they're going to have to try to get some first downs, keep possession, and keep the ball away from the Cougars if they want to keep this game close.
Randy Wolf is the first season coach for Western Wayne. They started out 5-1. They lost the last two to North Pocono and Scranton Prep within Division II of the Lackawanna Football Conference. Trying to get into the playoffs. First completion of the game is out to Dylan Walk, and it's a first down up to the 44.
It's a nice safe throw by Scotty Walk to his brother. Again, not having to throw the ball downfield into the wind. Easy play. Valley View playing off a little bit in the secondary, and that gave an opportunity to get a first down for Western Wayne.
Evan Carey on the stop for the Cougars. Cougars defense has been very, very good in their winning streak. They're 4-1 in the last 5 games. They're giving up only 10 points per game, 59 through the air, 90 yards through that time period. Couple of yards, Danny Boots, his first carry for the junior. Maybe 1 yard on the play.
That was our spotlight player, Brian Hudak, who made the tackle for Valley View. And again, we mentioned in the pregame, Bob, Hudak has really stepped up his game along with the players around him. That's why Valley View has gone on this streak. Their defensive line, when they go especially into a 5-man front, has really stopped the run, and that is why they've been successful in beating teams like West Scranton and North Pocono.
Comes the 5-man rush. Walk does a nice job just to get it out over the head of Kilgallen. So 3rd and long situation now for the Wildcats.
Walk never got a chance to set his feet that time. They brought a blitz from the outside. Sam Pitzman coming from one side. Kyle Swilinski came in from the other. So no opportunity that time for Walk to do what he wanted to do. The receiver actually had some space between him and the defensive back, But again, the pressure from Valley View forced Walk to throw early, and an incomplete pass was the result.
Western Wayne lost their first game of the year to Carbondale by 1 point, and Randy Wolf laid into his team. He said, you know, this is not what I expect. I'm used to winning at North Pocono and Delaware Valley. We're not going to have that. They went on a little run, made some big wins as Walk brings it up for 9 yards into Cougar territory for the first night. It's all in a mindset for Western Wayne. You have to get a winning feeling and get a winning program going, and that's what Randy Wolf's trying to do.
It's going to take him some time, but him and his staff have done a great job of getting these kids to buy into what they're trying to do. And a 5-1 start for the Wildcats, I mean, when you look at that, that's impressive. Because considering a new coaching staff, you know, he was lucky. He had a experienced quarterback coming back, which always helps you in high school football. But the bottom line is he has these kids believing in what he wants to do, and that's going to bode well in the future.
So on 4th down, Western Wayne calls timeout. They're going to go for it. Let's see if they're going to talk that over. So first timeout of the half taken for the Wildcats.
And I think this is a no-brainer for Coach Wolf. I mean, again, you've got to keep possession of the ball as much as possible. Go for it on a 4th-1 situation. Scotty Walk has run the ball nicely twice so far in this game. So I think this is an easy decision for Coach Wolf.
Here are some impact players to watch for Western Wayne. Gil Gallen, 24 catches on the year, 4 touchdowns, has the longest touchdown pass of the year, 67 yards. And then on the other side, Fuller and Dylan Walk are going to have to play some good defense.
Yeah, Kilgallen's an impressive player. He was Scotty Walk's favorite target, especially earlier in the season. I watching film on the Wildcats. He's very good fundamentally, and he can make big plays. And then on the defensive side, you see the youth there, Bob. But 2 kids who are going to be really good going into the future. They're getting their feet wet now here in 2016, but those are going to be 2 good football players as they go down the road.
Well, the offense, as you might expect, favors the pass over the run. They do get 223 yards per game, does Western Wayne. Of course, that has not played out the last 2 games against probably the best 2 teams in the division who will meet next week, Prep and North Pocono. So 4th down, they try to give it to the fullback. Fuller can't get it. Valley View looks like they held. Let's see where they place it.
Yeah, I think they held them, Bob. And a good job up front by Valley View for 2 reasons. One, Walk tried the hard count there to try to get the Cougars to jump off sides. They weren't biting. Then they decided to run the play, gave it to the fullback. But watch the middle here. Watch the linebackers come up and fill right behind the defensive line. You can see the lead blocker being taken on by Pittsman. And right there, that caused the traffic jam in the middle of the field. And Valley View gets the stop on 4th down.
Well, roll the dice for Randy Wolf. Why not? Underdog, no doubt, coming in, but it gives Valley View very good field position at their own 47-yard line. Already up by 6. They'll go to the fullback, Pittsman. He has some big holes to run through, and he powers his way inside Wildcat territory to the 41.
Sam Pittsman, the junior, more known for his defense, but they will give him the football between the tackles, and he has been very good when they've given them the football. It's another weapon Valley View has, and again, it's something that they like to do. Coach Hawaiian, since he's been here at Valley View, likes to give the ball to the fullback, especially if he has one who's capable of running like Pittsman.
The other thing George Hawaiian said is they've gone back to Cougar football, which is power run. This time Fuller's right there. Nice job by him, the 6'2 junior, playing defensive tackle, only 2 yards on the play.
Yeah, he was one of our impact players we just talked about. And Fuller is going to have to lead this defense. He's a big kid. He's right smack in the middle, and that's where Valley View is going to try to, expose the Western Wayne defense. Better job that time by the Wildcats on basically another fullback run, and they're going to need more of that this evening.
Wendy's key to the game, of course, for Valley View, what they've done the last couple of weeks, Chris, control the line of scrimmage. They have that big offensive line, and they have to use it. Jones, he hits Mr. Fuller head on. 1 yard, if that.
This is definitely what Western Wayne needs. They need to make sure Valley View's not getting big chunks of yardage at a time. We saw Osborne with the touchdown on the second offensive play for Valley View. Those kind of plays will kill a defense. Right now, Western Wayne doing a better job here on this set of downs and has a chance here to, if they can make a play on third down, force the Cougars to make a decision.
Looks like the rain has lightened up and the wind a little bit as well. Wildcats need a stop to get the ball back. They make it as Carey comes up through less than a yard, so fourth down on the way for the Cougars.
Good support that time by the secondary of Western Wayne. I believe that was Kobe Souter who came up to help out on the run. So Valley View is going to stick to the run here. They feel like that's going to be a strength tonight. The line of scrimmage, and they're going to go for it here on fourth down. And Western Wayne could really use a stop, be a good psychological advantage here for the Wildcats if they can get it here.
Difficult snap, Fuller directing traffic. Tried to lay it out for Evan Carey, overthrew him. Wildcats hold to get the ball back.
Good coverage by the Western Wayne secondary. Carey trying to adjust his route. He saw Fuller was out there on the perimeter, and Carey had to kind of turn the other way as the throw was over the other shoulder, but Western Wayne had him covered, and the Wildcats get a big stop here on Valley View's second offensive possession.
I almost thought Fuller was going to run for it. Then I think he directed Carey to go downfield, and he just overthrew him.
Exactly. Fuller will run the football a lot. He has 420 yards on the season. In fact, the first half of the season, he was their primary rusher. They've kind of spread it around a little bit more, but we haven't seen him carry the ball yet here on the first two drives.
High snap. They get it out on the edge to Sauter, and Sauter does a nice job up to about the 44-yard line.
Good job by Western Wayne sealing the corner. That gave Sauter a chance to break up field, and he got good first down yardage. And we've seen that a couple times here in the last two possessions by the Wildcats. They can do that, those kind of yardage on first down. That's going to be a big advantage for them.
And they've done it on the edges for the most positive plays. Less than 5 minutes and rolling here in Peckville. Light rain falling. Walk gonna lay it out. His receiver didn't make the move I think he thought he would. He thought he'd be downfield, trying to hit Bailey Walk, his brother. It goes incomplete, third down on the way.
Interesting play selection that time by the Wildcats. They put three receivers to the right, Bailey Walk to the left. They tried to isolate him on Brett Urin, and Brett Urin's a great story. First year playing varsity football. He's an outstanding wrestler for Valley View, and he's really contributed to this Cougar secondary. You knew about Osborne and the Carey brothers. He's made a nice fourth player, and right there he had pretty good coverage on Walk.
Western Wayne, Wendy's key to the game, execute on offense, and that means getting it out to one of this guy. Sauter with room inside Cougar territory. Pickup of 7. Big hole for the sophomore.
Yeah, give the offensive line credit on that one. Sauter really didn't have to do much work here. He just found a gigantic hole on the left side. They kicked out the defensive end, and Western Wayne, for the second time tonight, moves into Valley View territory. Only down a touchdown here in the first quarter.
They'll get that wind in the second quarter. Let's see if they want to go to the air more often. Walk on a called keeper. Barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe lost a yard.
That was a better job by the Cougars that time. Blake Evans, the outside linebacker, got penetration, forced Walk to stretch it out more horizontally, and then on the edge there, you see Carey fighting off a block to finish off the tackle. Nice job by the Valley View defense on that play.
Western Wayne hanging around the playoffs in 3A in District 2. blocked away on the outside. Good job by Kyle Kowinski.
Yeah, Solinski's had a great second half of the season so far as well. This is a kid who had a lot of injuries. He's a good basketball player, good baseball player. And, you know, he was the freshman quarterback at one point, and he just was sidelined by the injuries so much. They decided to give him a better position on defense, and he's been a great defensive end. You saw there, he's a big kid. He got his hands up in the air, and Scotty Walk couldn't get the ball over him.
Leads the Cougars in sack this season, 7.5 for him. He's a junior. So big third down play. Walk gets it out quickly, and it's in and out of the hands. And that was 24 Robert Sebastianelli who had it, and he would have had a pick six.
Yeah, Sebastianelli knows it too. It was right in his hands. Valley View was bringing the pressure off the outside. Jake Osborne blitzing. Scotty Walk knew it. He had to get rid of it quick, and Sebastianelli had the coverage, just couldn't hold on to the football.
So Bailey Walk back in to kick. It's Carey and Osborne again back to receive. They're stationed at their 20. Good low kick. Taken by Osborne, but the special teams right there for Western Wayne. The Cougars will get their third possession, up 6-0 at their own 24.
Nice job that time by TJ Hess for Western Wayne. That's a good sign for Randy Wolf. 2 punts so far, neither one with a big return. If you can keep Valley View off the scoreboard with returns, that's going to help you stay in the football game.
So Valley View tonight getting the ball spread around. Evan Carey, Osborne with a touchdown. Jones has touched the ball as well as Fuller. So it goes Evan Carey now in the backfield by himself. Looking for a hole, shoots through for about 3 or 4 yards. Tackled by Boots.
Carey came up limping a little bit after that run. Seems to be okay. He's going to stay in the huddle. But again, Carey's so dynamic. He really can get the ball anywhere on the field and make plays. And again, Coach Awanitz wants to try to get the ball in his hands even more here as we head into the postseason.
Carey again, taken down quickly from his secondary spot. Kobe Sauter shoots in, takes the legs out, 3rd and long on the way.
Sauter was the only Western Wayne Wildcat that wasn't blocked on that play. He filled the hole perfectly, and give him credit, he went head on with Carey and made a good tackle. And the Cougars now are going to have to convert a 3rd down to keep this drive alive.
Last 2 possessions, Western Wayne has done a nice job at the line of scrimmage. Take away those big holes for Valley View, which got their first touchdown. Fuller into the shotgun. Quarterback draw. Wildcats hold up the line. Nice job again. I think Sauter shot in. And 4th down on the way. Let's see if they're going to go for it. The punt team comes out.
Yeah, Fuller, with his first carry of the evening, tried to go off right tackle. I thought maybe if he could bounce that outside, Bob, there was not a lot of Wildcats on that side of the field, but instead he tried to cut it up inside and came up about a yard short of the 1st down.
First punt of the night. And it is a fake, and there goes Valley View. A lot of speed, Ethan Carey all the way in for a Valley View touchdown. No flags that are down 67 yards on a little trickery for the Cougars.
Well, Coach Awanitz has been doing this all year. He has shown confidence in his playmakers. He has gone for it deep in his own territory. And that time, the direct snap right to Carey, who was the up man in the punt formation. Big hole up the middle, and then he got to the outside and was all speed from there for Ethan Carey. And Valley View with their second big play, this time coming on a special teams play to put the Cougars up 12-0.
They've used it with their speed as well. So they're lining up for a 2-point conversion. Fuller first pass out into the flat, hits Carrion. Wildcats again, nice job. Sauter there, but 2 touchdowns put up on the board in this first quarter for the Cougars, and they're out in front 12-0.
Reliable, honest, affordable. Falcon Oil Blakely is committed to maintaining the lowest prices for home heating oil in Northeast Pennsylvania. For the best price guarantee, call 570-383-3257. Check out the latest promotions at falconoilpa.com.
Less than a minute to play, first quarter. Bob Ide, Chris Kaharski, and Aaron Dugan. The rain started right at about kickoff as expected. It is expected to last through the whole game and then stop. So the timing's a little bit off up here in Peckville. We could have got the rain before or after, maybe a lot better, but has not affected the Cougars at all on that running game. And they're out with 2 touchdowns here early on.
It's too bad for Western Wayne, too, because on those
bad luck.
last 2 possessions, they played great defense. I mean, Valley View had nowhere to go with the running game. But again, the Cougars have been good with special teams, Bob, and that was a big difference on that play.
Now we'll have to see if Western Wayne puts the heads down, how they're starting to feel after losing last week and the week before. Can they come back out, put a nice little drive together? Whether they score or not, that's okay. They just need to keep the Valley View offense on the sidelines. So, as I said, Western Wayne started the year 5-1. They did have a forfeit in there to Polar Redeemer, and then they came back and beat Tunkhannock and Honesdale. Last 2 losses, North Pocono and Scranton Prep, they only scored 12 points overall in 2 games, and this time it is the defense from Valley View shooting in is Blake Evans, the senior, loss of 4.
Yeah, during this defensive stand that Valley View's been doing over the last several games, Evans, Swalinski really have stepped up their game as well. Evans coming outside from the linebacker. When Coach Awanas has sent him, he's made big plays for the Cougars. Swalinski coming off the end, as you mentioned, leading the Valley View Cougars with sacks. Again, these kids are showing that they have adapted to their roles on the defense and make plays when they need to make them.
So the first quarter is in the books here in Peckville. It's been all Cougars early on. They lead this one 12-0. Back for quarter number 2 after this. We are back at a rainy night here in Peckville. Valley View's up 12-0. Aaron Dugan has found a special guest on the Western Wayne sidelines. Aaron.
Yeah, Bob, I took a little stroll over to the Western Wayne side. The weather might not be so great, but they brought about 60, 70 people out. And I'm here with one of the parents now. This is Scott Walk, a name that you heard a lot tonight. So tell me, how many boys do you have out there?
I have 3 out there tonight.
So tell me who they are and their positions.
Well, my oldest is Scott Walk. He's the quarterback. Dylan Walk is the receiver, and Bailey Walk is the tight end.
So when you're at home, is football the only conversation? Is that all that's talked about in the household?
That's all that's talked about. And when football season's in, it's just our whole house is nothing but football.
So what are their personalities like? Are they very similar? Are they different?
Yeah, Scott's laid back. Dylan has a little bit of swag to him, and Bailey's just quiet and confident.
Swag, I like it.
He had the swag.
So you have a nice group here tonight from Western Wayne. What's it been like following the season this year?
It's been a great season. The kids are young, and we got new coaches this year, and everybody's gelling. The coaches are well, and we set a couple milestones this year. Scott broke over 5,000 passing yards this year, which was great in his senior year. Now they're young, and it's just going to take some time to get together and work on the same page, but we'll be back. We'll be back.
Beautiful night tonight, right?
Oh, yeah, you got to love the rain. It's beautiful football weather.
Yeah, Bob, we're still having a good time. We don't care about the rain.
No, we do care about the rain. We care for you. We care for Scott. And when I talk to the boys, Chris, they mentioned how competitive they are just among themselves. He goes, the most competitive we are when we play basketball in the backyard. And, that could be a blood game between the 3 boys. And I'm sure they eat a lot too. So the drive slows down, and another punt underway for Western Wayne. Walk again with a nice kick. This is that Carey after a big block. Ethan Carey with running room. Carey a big move. Inside the 10 to the 5, but we have a flags all over the place, and we have a Western Wayne player down near midfield. So a big block put on, but Chris, was it legal?
Well, the referees are going to say no, it wasn't.
It's Jake Coons, by the way, number 16.
Yeah, that was actually Evan Carey that came back and gave the block for his brother. There was another penalty, a block in the back besides that. Sometimes, though, Bob, when a player, doesn't have his head turned, the referees are going to call that. It's to keep the game as far as
the receiving team
keeping the
targeting,
kids safe.
15
and
yards.
there you sit.
From the spot of the foul. 1st and 10, Valley View.
And there you see Paul Sheehan explaining that they thought it was targeting. And again, it's more of a safety thing at this point. Again, I don't think Carey was trying to hurt the player. He's trying to make a play, but at the same time, that player was in a vulnerable position, and that's why they called the penalty.
It's tough to see right there. Cameras have a little bit of precipitation on it. We did see a block and someone go flying. But the referee saw it one way, and George Hwanitz doesn't like that. He's still working them over. But no matter what, the Cougars will have the ball at their own 35-yard line. So a break there for the Wildcats. They got lucky, but we'll have to make sure that Jacob Coons is okay.
Yeah, I think what Coach Hwanitz's argument was that he did not hit him in the head anywhere. I couldn't see it on our replay because it was a little bit out of the shot, but at the same time, especially if you're going at the head in any level of football these days, they're going to call it because of all the concussion concerns.
So here come the Cougars again, already up by 2 scores. Evan Carey bounces out, and now the spaces are starting to open up. We have a second flag of the game coming in on that far side. Looks like it's a place might be holding.
Although Valley View has been playing some great football, especially over the last several weeks, Bob, they have been a very mistake-ridden team since the beginning of the season. Now, last week they played a real clean game and kind of got rid of a lot of those mistakes. So let's get the call from Paul Sheehan.
In the back on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
But, Bob, if you look at Valley View's defense in recent games, they've barely given up any long touchdown drives. In fact, turnovers have put their defenses backs against the wall, and a lot of times teams have scored opposing teams have scored touchdowns from the 1-yard line, the 8-yard line, the 20-yard line. So if Valley View can avoid those mistakes, that's when they become a very dominant football team.
So Evan Carey back, single back. Fuller going to go to the air, into the wind. Nice pass. He's got Osborne, and he pulls it in. Jake Osborne, second touchdown of the night. This one through the air, 70 yards from Chandler Fuller.
You can't do it much better than that. Osborne isolated one-on-one coverage, runs the post pattern, and Chandler Fuller, what a beautiful throw. Puts enough air under it so Osborne can run right underneath it, Bob. And that was the key to this play. No doubt Osborne beat his man, but right there, perfect strike to Osborne, who's been a big play guy all year for Valley View, and the Cougars strike through the air for the first time this evening.
Well, after a couple of weeks with the defense leading the way, the offense has come alive tonight against Western Wayne. They'll go for 2 points for the 3rd straight time. This time they're going to a little fade pattern. No flag down, a couple guys pushing, and it goes incomplete. But we do have a flag, so let's wait and see what this is. So after 0 flags in the first quarter, well, except for the opening kick, I should say 1 flag in the first. Now we have 3 in a row.
On the offense, penalty is declined. Try is over.
Okay, we'll take a quick timeout. 9:54 remaining in the half. 18-0 Valley View.
Rivalry of the Week on MyTV is presented by Wendy's. Try the best of all things bacon. Wendy's new Baconator for a limited time only at participating Wendy's.
There you can see the rain coming in sideways. The wind now looks like it's going the other way with the flags. It was coming from the south. It looks like it's changed up a little bit, Chris, and I don't know, that might not favor Western Wayne. If anything else could go worse tonight. We'll take it from the 5. That was Sauter, number 21. So now if you're Western Wayne, well, I was going to say you had the wind at your back, but I can't tell at all by this weather. What do you have to do if you're the Wildcats? You have to go to the air now? I mean, that's what your bread and butter.
If I'm Randy Wolf, I'm going to play this game like it's 0-0. I'm going to stick with my game plan, try to execute one play at a time, try to move the chains. I'm not going to do anything different at this point. He knows he comes in as an underdog. He wants these kids to execute what they're supposed to do. So I don't expect anything different yet in this game by the Wildcats.
They're going to stick to it on the ground. Up through his Sauter for a couple of yards.
Nice job that time by Robert Sebastianelli to come up from his linebacker position. Put a big hit on the Wildcat back that time. Again, you see Valley View does a good job with their linebackers filling the hole. Sebastianelli did exactly what he's taught to do. Squared up, perfect form tackle by Sebastianelli.
Let's see if Walk now wants to put it up or keep it himself. Keep it in the senior hands. He's flanked by a couple players, gets it out into the flat. Hits Gilgallen on a nice completion, so it'll be about 3rd and 5 coming up for Western Wayne.
That's where the Wildcats have been best here in this first half. Safe throws to the outside, or Scotty Walk running to the outside. That's where they're going to have some success, because up the middle, they just don't match up with the defensive line of Valley View.
Well, they're definitely outmanned. And Valley View, that's one of their strengths. When we even saw the first game of the year here against Lakeland, we talked about that. Just the size they have. They've taken advantage of that to the second half of the season. More of a power running game. Here comes a big rush put on. Walk lays it up. He's got a guy, and it's complete. It's Dylan Walk. Dylan still on his feet. Makes a big move and a big game inside the 25-yard line to the 24 for the sophomore, Dylan Walk.
What a play by Scotty Walk, the quarterback. He had 3 Cougars coming at him, and he took a hit right when he released the football. And the ball was actually just kind of thrown up in the air, and Blake Evans putting the pressure, but Ethan Carey didn't know where the receiver went, and then some poor tackling by the Cougars. Nice job by the Wildcats, their biggest play of the evening.
68-yard gain, and they're inside Cougar territory now, down by 18. Scott Walk doesn't like what he sees, so he takes a timeout wisely. Their second of the half. And here are some Cougar impact players, and we've already seen some of them already. Evan Carey, we've seen what he can do. Chandler Fuller already thrown a touchdown pass, and we see Kowinski, their leading sack guy. He's already had a couple big plays himself.
Yeah, these are 3 very strong players for Valley View. Carey, the only senior of this group. So, you know, Chandler Fuller got some playing time last year at quarterback. He started 1 game for Valley View. really has done a better job of understanding what Coach Hawanic wants him to do as the season has gone on. He's an athletic kid. He's a tough kid. That's why they ran the football so much for him earlier in the season. And he does have a strong arm too, Bob. It's just controlling that arm, putting the right touch on it when he needs to. We saw that on the touchdown pass to Osborne.
He threw it into the wind too.
No doubt about the arm strength, though. He has a very strong arm, and again, only a junior. That bodes well for Valley View next year when he'll be back for his senior season.
So the Wildcats would like to get some points on the board, get some confidence. There you see Randy Wolf coming from Delaware Valley, trying to institute a new program, and it's a new attitude at Western Wayne.
And the first thing Coach Wolf did was surround himself with some great assistant coaches. John White-Lavich and Dave Baker have been around for a long time. Great football coaches. I was talking to them before the game, and that's one reason Western Wayne has had some early success.
Walk to the air again, into the end zone. It goes incomplete. Trying to hit Gallon, and Carey was there on the defense.
Yeah, Ethan Carey did a nice job of recovering that time. The receiver actually got some separation. You see Carey at the last second putting that hand up and knocking it down. The pass kind of hung up a little too much for Scott Walk that time. Again, Bailey Walk was open. But again, good recovery that time by Ethan Carey.
So a little bit more passing now with the wind behind their back. Quarterback sneak, trying to get anywhere, but Valley View does an excellent job on the pursuit. Durkin looked like was there.
And that was Swalinski again, Bob. Swalinski, if you watch the replay, you're going to see he was being blocked on the play, and you'll see the play coming right at him. It's going to come right at us right now, and we'll see if he get him in the camera angle. There he is right there, and Swalinski kind of held up the runner till some Cougars came in support, and actually came up with the football, but the running back was down, so no, good call by the official, good no call.
Angelo Mozzoni, also from his nose guard position, was there also. So 3rd and long now on the way. Definitely 4 down territory here if you're Western Wayne. You're not going to kick a field goal, I don't think, in this weather. Let's see what the Wildcats can do. They bring the blitz. Wisely, Walk brings it up. He maybe gains a yard. Now loses his helmet. Let's see if he has to come out of the game or not. They're going to stop the clock.
And he does, because that's the rule in high school. You lose your helmet, you have to come out. So Coach Wolf has a choice here. He can take a timeout, and that would allow Walk to go back on the field. And to be honest, I don't see another choice because, again, 4 down territory, down 18 points, you have to go for it. And by the way, that was Ange Mazzoni making that play for Valley View, and then finishing it up was Sebastianelli, and I think that's when the helmet came off.
Well, the backup quarterback is Jake Kuntz, number 16, who was injured. And I think that's who's coming out. He got hurt on a special teams play, so they're going to bring out a sophomore quarterback on 4th down.
And the play clock's already down to 5, Bob. I don't think they're going to get this off. And Coach Wolf is going to call a timeout to save the 5 yards.
I should be able to bring his quarterback in, I believe, after the timeout. That's their 3rd one of this half. Probably a wise move, and the clock kind of helped them a little bit. So the ball is at the 22-yard line. Best drive of the night for the Wildcats, but the 4th down is what awaits.
One of the biggest trades in the NFL sent Sam Bradford to Minnesota, and now he returns to the city of brotherly love to face his former team. See how the Vikings fare against Carson Wentz and the Eagles at 1 o'clock this Sunday, only on Fox 56.
So Carson Wentz, first 3 games looks great. Last 2, maybe they catch up to him. But from what you've seen, I know you're a Steeler fan. You've seen Ben Roethlisberger for many years. I think he's got it in him. He is just a rookie, but he's got a great head on his shoulders.
I think he is giving Eagles fans hope because it's still a long road. But he has shown signs that he can handle the pressure. I'll give a better observation when the season is over and see how he handles a 16-game schedule. But, yeah, I think the Eagles did the right thing by trading Bradford and giving Wentz a chance now because he's definitely ready.
I think they just need to surround them with better athletes. So right here in the field, 4th down. They're going to leave Kuntz in the game, set up a screen pass. But Jake Osborne says, I see this all the way. He makes the play, and they'll go take the ball over on downs. Will the Valley View Cougars.
Jake Osborne has been outstanding defensively for Valley View this season. He has been the playmaker in the secondary. He read this screen perfectly. Actually, Western Wayne set it up pretty well. Nice little throw, but only one blue shirt in the picture there. That was Osborne. Perfect form tackle. And the Wildcats turn it over on downs.
So the Wildcat defense now has to make a stop, and the Cougars are going to call their first time of the half with 6:32 remaining and up 18 points.
You talked about the weather, Bob. Most of the District 2 teams are playing tonight as scheduled, but if you go over to District 4, I was observing Twitter and some of the websites that cover football out there. A lot of cancellations out in District 4 because of flooding from rains last night. So
especially in the northern tier, Chris, where they got hit pretty hard.
So actually the District 2 is kind of lucky that they're getting these games in tonight because they did not get hit hard last night.
Here's the Division 2 standings as of tonight's games. Prep will play tomorrow. Valley View's right here. West Scranton plays Prep tomorrow. North Pocono has Honesdale tonight. But North Pocono's lost 2 in the division. And again, the Trojans and the Cavaliers will meet 1 week from today up in Trojan land in Moscow.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe that Valley View, who started off 0-3, if they can win out and get some help, they would actually have a share of the Lackawanna League Division 2. That's a great accomplishment by the Cougars when a lot of people left them for dead early this season.
Well, they lost here to Lakeland in overtime, which we had right here on my TV. Then they had Delaware Valley, lost to them, and then lost to Scranton here. This is Trayon Jones with a nice gain up past the 25. But again, the Cougars went back to the running game, changed things up, and then came up with a big win after Scranton. They had Pittston, Abington on a mild upset on a Saturday afternoon, then played well against Prep, only lost by 5, shut out West Scranton, and then upset North Pocono last week, 12-7.
Talking to Coach Awanitz last week after his victory over North Pocono, he said that Pittston area game was the turning point, not just because they got their first win of the year, but because his kids got confidence. After going 0-3 and kind of wondering about themselves, they got confidence. The offense came alive. The defense played a lot better. And from there on out, really, they've been one of the best District 2 teams since then. Again, the Prep game, they were up in that game, and we were talking about before, they fumble at the 8-yard line and give Prep an easy short field, and that was the game winner. As you see, Carey trying to get it up inside on the right side. Western Wayne did a good job there, so 3rd down coming up for the Cougars. Empty backfield this time for Valley View.
Fuller going to go to the air. Good coverage downfield, but on the cut, Evan Carey comes back to make the catch at the 45. Gain of 20.
And great job by Evan Carey doing what receivers are taught to do. Come back to the quarterback. Don't stand in a place and wait. And again, Fuller firing a strike a little bit high, but nonetheless, Carey was in a position to cradle the football, stay in bounds, and the Cougars moved the chains on the 3rd down conversion.
So that defense has to remain out there. They played in spurts pretty well. They've given up a couple big plays, and that's about it. Good job by line of scrimmage. Fuller in there again. Really like him, Cole Fuller, the junior. But for Western Wayne, it's pretty easy. We've seen it so far. They have to limit the Valley View playmakers. That's one of our Wendy's keys to the game. They really have not done that so far.
No, 3 big plays. One in the running game, one in special teams, and one in the passing game, Bob. And all 3 were made by the Valley View playmakers that we talked about all season long. So unfortunately for the Wildcats, that key to the game has proven true. That's why they're down 18-0.
Back to the ground they go. Jones, and there's Fuller again. Gain of 2. Another third down facing Valley View, just the route by midfield.
Fuller was there along with Anthony Marone. So they got the Valley View tailback after a short gain on the play. Trayon Jones. Trayon Jones just a sophomore, Bob, and not a big kid. He's got some decent speed, but he's going to have to get a little stronger because first contact's usually made. He goes down on the play.
Fuller gonna go downfield again, and he's got Carey. He hits him in stride. Touchdown, Valley View, 50 yards to Evan Carey.
Another big play for the Valley View playmakers. And Western Wayne just doesn't have an answer in the secondary, Bob, for these speedy Valley View wide receivers. This time, obviously, it's Evan Carey and Valley View with their 4th touchdown of the evening. All big plays.
Carey's 2nd touchdown through the air, his 6th overall. So they'll go for 2 one more time. They failed on all 3. Let's see if the 4th time they can do it. They give it to Trayon Jones, and he pops in. 2-point conversion is good, and the Cougars extend their lead. 3:33 remaining in the half. 26-0 Valley View. So a couple of great third down conversions for Valley View on that. 2 of them through the air. And Chandler Fuller has thrown a couple of deep passes for Valley View.
And the one thing you'll see on this play, Bob, is that the pocket for Fuller was perfect. Watch the offensive line, how they all stay on their blocks. Look at the middle of the field. He can step right up, follow through with his pass, sets his feet. That's when Fuller is at his best. Carey did his job by getting past the secondary, but the offensive line deserves a lot of credit for great pass blocking on that play that allowed Chandler Fuller to do exactly what he's taught to do, and that's step up in the pocket and fire the strike downfield.
6 plays, 78 yards for Valley View. Gillo again, the sophomore kicker, about to tee it up. Julian Hall back to receive. He's a junior. Number 1, excuse me. Little squib kick. Still live ball, and Western Wayne will fall on it. So the education continues for the Wildcats. A team that really has struggled in many years. They only made the playoffs a couple years ago. That was the Eastern Conference playoffs, and they lost in that one. Butch Keller at one time was the coach. Donnie McDonough the last couple of years. And now they make the change to Randy Wolf, who is a part of the staff at Western Wayne. Brings a nice enthusiasm. And as he even said, you know, some of my guys, maybe these should play in JV, but overall, situation is okay at Western Wayne. He started the year 27 players. He now has 39 dressings. He's actually added players through the season. Not many teams can say they've done that.
That's creating a culture of enthusiasm. People are coming out because they see good things happening, and that's what you have to do at a program that has struggled at certain times. You know, they're playing schools like Valley View, West Scranton, North Pocono. These teams have won championships, and Western Wayne has not really fallen in that level. Yes, they are a 3A school. They're playing some 4A schools. But the bottom line is you have to change the culture. That's what Randy Wolf has started to do. I think he's going to be very successful at Western Wayne. He comes from a great pedigree, great coaches around him. It's just going to take some time.
The other thing, when talking to Coach Wolf, is in a couple years, they may drop down to AA. So their schedule may change again. They may not have to play some of those bigger schools. We'll see what happens then, but you know, if everything goes their way, they could be a team that's in there. Double A is always tough though, with Lakeland, of course, Dunmore.
Just say, does it get any easier?
That's what I said to him. I said, you want to play Dunmore and Lakeland and Riverside? And
well, that's actually who they were playing the last several years when the Lackawanna Division II was in the old alignment. So, you know, again, if you want to compete with those types of teams, you just have to get your program healthier. And it's not easy, believe me. The reason you see Dunmore and other schools like that consistently winning is because they're just great football programs.
And it starts in the weight room, starts in the off-season.
Off-season and again, attitude.
Walk downfield, got a receiver in and out of the hands. Goes incomplete. I mean, he was trying to hit his brother Bailey Walk, the tight end. He had him for a second. Third down and long on the way.
There you saw Jake Osborne once again. Right there, as soon as the ball got there, even if Walt can bring it in, I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on to that, because watch the hit laid off by Osborne. No doubt in my mind, watching a lot of Valley View film this year, Osborne's one of the hardest hitting defensive backs in District 2. He really lays the wood, and he does it clean, and he does it with timing. And that's what makes a defensive back very effective. It's not always coverage, Bob. There's other parts of that as well.
Blitz again. Gets about 4 yards. As Walkie, Hickel Gallen, and another punt situation coming up for Western Wayne.
That was Urin on the coverage that time for Valley View, and they brought the blitz with Osborne. Again, you know, Walk is feeling the pressure, no doubt about it. We knew that coming in. But Valley View's defense does a good job, and now they're going to take a timeout to stop the clock. With 2:26 remaining here in the first half, the Cougars up 26-0. Real quick, Bob, just some updates of games that might be of interest for Western Wayne and Valley View fans. GAR leads Hanover area 7-6. That's a game that Western Wayne's obviously interested in. And Berwick leads Lake Lehman 27-7. So actually that's good news for the Wildcats' playoff hopes.
So Division I, that's around the Lackawanna League, as teams are wrapping up week 9. Chris just gave some scores. Delaware Valley's right there. Abington, Scranton, and Walla-Paupack.
DV's up 27-0 at halftime over Paupack. Abington Heights taking on Scranton tonight. They're tied 7-7 in the second quarter. So pretty good one going on down Scranton Memorial Stadium.
That time of year, keeping an eye on the scoreboard. Walk a nice high kick. Right into Osborne's hands, and I think he called for the fair catch already. So it's going to be down to Valley View ball at the 44-yard line. So 2:17 remaining. Cougars trying to add to their lead going into the half.
Yeah, it's senior night here at Valley View. Not necessarily the last home game for the Cougars. Actually, they are sitting in a good position to get a home game in the first round of the 4A playoffs. Again, that didn't seem very likely after week 3, but they played their way into that, and they helped themselves by beating 2 4A teams along the way in West Scranton and North Pocono. So Cougars still have to take care of business, and if they get some help, they'll be home week 11.
We will run down the District 2 standings and give you all the playoff possibilities in the second half. Right here, Fuller on the keep, has some running room and a blocker. Fuller bounces outside. One missed tackle, and it's another touchdown for the Cougars. But there is a flag down back at the 37-yard line of Western Wayne.
And unfortunately for Fuller, these penalties were unnecessary. They were way behind the play.
On the offense, unnecessary roughness, 15 yards from the spot. Okay, is that going to give us a first down?
Well, I was going to say,
there you see the call.
This is the stuff earlier in the season that Valley View was having troubles with. They were having troubles with penalties that really hurt them. Now, in this case, it's not as bad because it's 26-0, but they did lose a touchdown as Erin's hanging out with the Cougar.
With an umbrella.
That's why she's hanging out with the Cougar.
Smart girl. Smart girl. No, maybe the Cougar's smart hanging out with her.
That's true. That's true. And by the way, that was a beautiful run by Fuller.
Yeah.
He got along the sidelines. Looked like he was going to be out of bounds, and a Western Wayne player bounced off him, but all for naught at this point, as the penalty will push it back into Valley View territory.
They actually gained some yardage, so it's still first down. Fuller now going to go to the air. They're going to try a deep pass again. Over the middle, they had Osborne in and out of his hands.
Osborne, the intended receiver.
Don't know if that might have been the rain on the ball. Kind of just slipped through Osborne's hands. As Valley View went back to the air, where they've had some success here in the first half.
Well, we had a couple keys to the game for Valley View. One of them, Coach Awanitz talked about, was minimizing the penalties, because, yes, they're up 26-0 here, and that penalty at this point means nothing in the game, and it won't be a factor. But when you're in the playoffs and you get penalties at bad times, that could cost you a playoff win. Fuller, all day to throw it. Gonna lay it out. Has Carey again. Touchdown Valley View, 52 yards. Evan Carey, his second touchdown of the night.
And again, it's just a mismatch in the secondary. The Careys, Jake Osborne, these kids are polished. They're all seniors. They're great route runners, and they have speed. And you can see 3 Western Wayne players there, Bob, but all a couple steps behind Carey. And Fuller, this is the best I have seen him this season, Bob. Even with the wet weather, he is delivering the ball perfectly to his receivers, leading them, putting enough air under the ball. That bodes well for Valley View going into Week 10 into the postseason.
Quarterback sneak for the 2-point conversion. If he can get the corner, he gets it. And the 2-point conversion is good. So with 1:49 remaining in the half, Valley View extends their lead 34-0. Let's look at this one again, and he is throwing into the wind. Perfect spiral.
Yeah, that's just a great throw. I don't care if there's wind or no wind. That is a great throw. And Carey, again, ran a perfect route. Western Wayne just a little outmatched in the secondary. As you see, Coach Awanitz giving a little style lessons to Chandler Fuller. Don't forget, Coach Awanitz was a quarterback at Valley View. He was part of that state championship team back in 1992. But don't forget, he was a great defensive player. He went on to play defense down at Bucknell, and he won a Patriot League title down there, and he runs the defense now for Valley View. He's the one making the calls. Mike Barrett makes the calls on offense. So again, Coach Awanitz always going to give his tips with the quarterbacks. That's something dear to his heart, being a former one.
Well, how much did he throw the ball in 92? I don't remember him throwing the ball at all.
Not a lot.
A lot of the option play with Coach Bazzalia.
He ran the ball very well.
Yeah, very good runner.
I think he was a 900-yard rusher.
Yeah, and he played defense like you talked about. I remember them and following them through the year. And, of course, they went on to win the state title. So one more division the Lackawanna League to go through, and this is pretty much Dunmore is to lose at this point. They have Carbondale tonight, and not sure who Old Forge next week to wrap up the year.
Yeah, so they'll be favored to have a perfect regular season. Obviously, they'll be the #1 seed in Class 2A, and they'll win the Lackawanna League Division 3 if they're up 27-0 at halftime right now. They'll probably see Lakeland again, though. I mean, Lakeland will play Riverside in the first round. Lakeland handled Riverside pretty handily in the regular season. That's one I'm anxious to see, though, Bob, if it is the District 2 championship game. 2 very great programs in Dunmore and Lakeland.
Well, nowhere to go for Sauter. Pittsman had him well behind the line of scrimmage. Looks like a loss of almost 9 yards. So Randy Wolf has to take his team in and draw something up keep the spirits up, because this is when you can really get down if you're Western Wayne.
My guess with this game, Bob, and the time of the season it is, I don't think Coach Hawanis will hesitate to get a lot of his JV players in the second half. You want to be healthy going into the postseason. Plus, to be honest with you, Valley View has not played in too many blowout games. Their games have all been close lately. Last time, I guess Pittston was the last time they were able to get a lot of their second teamers in. And so, this is playing out the way Valley View wanted it to. Obviously, Western Wayne would like to, be a little better defensively, especially in the secondary, but give the Cougars credit. They're executing tonight, and that's part of the game. You got to execute. And Valley View's doing that here in week 9.
Well, next week, Valley View will be on the road at Honesdale. They'll be the overwhelming favorite in that as well. Another run by Sauter, and he brings it up through, and Valley View's going to call a timeout with 6 seconds remaining. So a little sportsmanship here for Coach Hawanis. Wants them to kick the ball again.
And again, when they come out in the second half, if this is what the score remains, it is not the sportsmanship rule. It's 35 points.
Yeah, one more, but Valley View gets the ball to begin the second half.
And of course, you say, why is he doing this? Don't forget, Valley View, again, in special teams, very dangerous with the return game. So I think what he's hoping here is that they could possibly get a return to end the half, and that's the strategy he's implementing right now.
So the rain continues to fall. There's the season for the Cougars, which we were talking about. Started 0-3, 4-1 of their last 5, and it all started with that big win over Pittston. They got things rolling, upset Abington Heights.
Yeah, and again, Coach Hawanis said if his schedule would have been flipped, he thinks he would have been better off, because they really didn't establish till week 4 or 5 what they wanted to do offensively and defensively. They have their identity now. They did not have an identity those first 3 weeks of the season.
But if you lose to Delaware at the end of the season, now you have some momentum going into the playoffs, and you're going to get a good position. You overtake Berwick, and Berwick has to play Williamsport next week at home, even if they win tonight. This punt goes to Osborne. Osborne going to try to get outside another big block. Comes back. 2 men to beat. Flag comes in. This may be coming back. Osborne's going to dive for the end zone, but this is coming back. Another flag on Valley View on special teams negates a touchdown.
And you'll see that a lot at all levels of football, Bob, when returners start reversing direction and going the other way because the blockers are, shielding one way, and they have to change what they're doing. And so it's not always the best thing to do. It's a great run back by Osborne. You'll see him, go to his left. That was a clean block there.
Clean block.
Clean block, but here's when he comes back. So everybody's in the wrong direction now. Sebastianelli with a good block. There it was right there. And it was in the back. So, again, Osborne with a great return, but nonetheless, it'll go for naught.
Which shows how dangerous Valley View is going to be in the playoffs of special teams.
They have been all year. They really have the last 2 years because of Osborne and the Carey twins. And, yeah, you better kick away from them. I'll tell you right now, kickoffs and punts, you're better off squibbing it or putting it out of bounds, because these guys can take it to the house.
We saw that against Lakeland, too.
Yes.
We saw a special teams run. So one untimed down coming up. Cougars up by 34.
Valley View, I think, is short a guy.
Short a guy.
If they're just going to take a knee, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So Aaron's going to catch up with Coach Hawanis, who should be happy. He'll probably talk about the penalties, because he could be up almost by 50 points at this point. So Aaron's going to grab Coach Hawanis, see what he has to say, and let's go down now to Aaron with the coach.
Well, Coach, you're able to make some pretty incredible plays in this weather. I'm sure with the scoreboard, you're very happy.
Yeah, I thought Chandler threw the ball really well, and we hit Evan on some big plays and ran a nice fake punt. I thought it was good. So, the kids are playing hard. We've been doing this the last couple of weeks, so hopefully in the second half we can keep it going.
You get the ball in the second half, more of the same?
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably get some of our younger kids in now, I hope, and again, we want to keep everybody not from getting injured and things like that. So, I think that's where probably we'll be at in the second half.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thanks. Okay.
Bob?
When we come back at the half, Aaron has a special interview about coaches versus cancer, and then we'll talk to the owner of Falcon Oil here in the Valley. 34-0 at the half, all Valley View.
You're watching the Rivalry of the Week on MyTV WQMY, presented by Wendy's.
Rivalry of the Week on MyTV WQMY. Valley View, the home team tonight, up 34-0 over Western Wayne at the half. I'm Erin Dugan. We're so glad you could join us tonight. We're also glad to have one of our sponsors here tonight. This is Rodney Pasteri from Falcon Oil. Thank you so much for coming out in this weather to tell us a little bit about Falcon Oil.
First of all, the weather is real good for football.
Oh, yeah.
The kids love it. They actually play better in this. We've been in business 34 years. We're just up the road, about a mile. We've been in the community our whole lives. We grew up in Jessup, and we started our business, and it's thanks to the community, our business has grown. So we like to give back to everybody. One of the reasons why we're sponsoring the game tonight. But we do a lot of different things in the community. We try to give back, especially for the kids. They need money if they're, like the softball teams, they have to go on the road, they need hotels. We do all of that. We don't want any recognition for anything like that. It's just, we feel we owe it back to the community.
And you're actually right down the road, right?
Yep, just up the road about a half a mile.
So you service everybody in this whole area?
Yeah, we have a number of gas stations locally. We have a home heating oil business that we've been servicing people for over 30 years. Lackawanna, Luzerne, Wyoming County, some of the outlying areas. We just pride ourselves on service, especially the older people. When they order oil, they really need it because they don't have a lot of money to spend. So we make sure we're there on time. A lot of times it's the same day for them. So it takes the worry away from them, and we feel good doing it.
Absolutely. So if anybody wants to find out more information, do you have a Facebook page, a website? How can people get in contact with you?
We do have a Facebook page. We also have a website, nepaoil.com. They could go to that. You could order online. We have different giveaways we do monthly. We give away 200 gallons of oil every month. All they do is go in and register. They pick a name. The people's names get registered online, and they get 100 gallons of oil free. We've been doing that for many, many, many years, and people appreciate it. So
very cool. I know the kids tonight really appreciated the rally towels and the T-shirts that got thrown out in the crowd. They were having fun.
That's good. Too bad there's not more people here. They would have enjoyed it more. But, they could watch it on TV.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you, Falcon Oil, for your sponsorship, and stay dry.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with some stats and highlights from the first half. You're watching live high school football on MyTV WQMY.
Well, the rain continues to fall here at John Henses Veterans Memorial Stadium in Peckville. But the fans that are here are happy ones. For your Cougar one fan, it's 34-0 Valley View. Welcome back, everyone. Bob Odd along with Chris Kaharski from NPFsports.com. And Chris, 34-0. I knew Valley View might have been favored in this game, but they really got their playmakers into the game really early.
And that was one of the keys to the game. And give Valley View credit. They've made big plays tonight, and Western Wayne has had no answers for them. What I'm really impressed with, though, is Chandler Fuller, the quarterback for Valley View. Not as he's thrown strikes for some long touchdown passes. Doing that in this conditions is not easy at any level. NFL, college, high school. What we've seen from him tonight is going to give a lot of other teams who watch Valley View on film something to think about. Because, again, we've seen the arm strength from him. We've seen his running ability. The touch has always been questionable, but tonight he's had that.
Let's take a look at some first half highlights. All Valley View in this one from the second play of the game. And this is actually the second touchdown of the game.
That was the fake punt.
The fake punt goes in, and that was a big play by Ethan Carey. Then the defense, big play of the offense for Western Wayne. Their biggest play of the game came in this late in the second half. Second quarter, I should say. And here's one of those long passes from Chandler Fuller.
And again, that's where you see him having time, stepping up in the pocket. And Valley View's defense also really just at the point of attack, making plays right there. Solinski doing a good job. And, of course, special teams always dangerous for the Cougars.
This is one of the ones that actually came back. This was called back on a penalty.
But again, Ethan Carey, you see his athleticism, you see his quickness, and that's why Valley View has a good chance to make a run in the District 2 playoffs.
So it's 34-0. Both teams coming onto the field. 90 seconds left before they put up more time. So you have some stats on the first half. Not too many. We know that Western Wayne only has 3 first down and 86 total yards. 20 rush, 86 through the air. That big pass was the big play. Scott Walk, their leading rusher, with 16 yards, 67 through the air. Valley View leading the way tonight, 34-0. So we'll take a quick timeout. Chris and I will return. We'll get back for second half action here in Peckville. Both teams have returned to the field. The Cougars up 34-0. They'll get the ball to begin the second half of play. So as we mentioned, the stats favoring Valley View. Chris, what do we have?
Well, again, Valley View doing a great job on defense, limiting the Wildcats to 20 yards rushing in that first half, 66 yards passing, 50 of those coming in that one play, Bob. So the defense, which has been so good for the last 4 or 5 weeks, continues to shine. But the offense is what, not surprising, but it's kind of good from the Valley View standpoint to see them make these big plays. Evan Carey, 6 carries for 17 yards. Jake Osborne, 1 carry for 59 yards. Chandler Fuller, 2 for 23. Trayon Jones, 3 for 8. Ethan Carey, 1 for 68. And Pittsman has 3 carries for 15 yards. So you do the math there, you're looking at about 100 and, doing it on the fly here, about 180 yards rushing for Valley View.
188.
188. Good job with your math. And then on the other side, Chandler Fuller, listen to these numbers, Bob. 4 for 6, 192 yards passing. So only 4 completions. It's almost 50 yards per catch.
Well, he had a 50-yard touchdown and a 52-yard touchdown.
And Evan Carey, 3 catches for 122 yards in that first half. So, again, the most noticeable thing of this first half was Valley View's ability to make big plays. And obviously, Coach Awanas has to be happy with that because that element of their game really has not come through too much. And they're going to need that when they get to the playoffs.
So as Coach Awanas said, they will receive the ball to begin the second half. I'm sure we'll start seeing some of the younger players. I don't think we'll see the same on the other side. I'm sure Western Wayne would like to get some confidence going in. They do get to host West Scranton next week. West will be coming off a short week because they meet Scranton Prep tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock at Scranton Memorial Stadium. And West is fighting for a playoff spot as well. So the crowd is kind of dispersed here at Valley View, as you might expect on a wet, rainy evening throughout northeastern and central Pennsylvania. A lot of the games in the northern tier part are hit hard by a lot of rain overnight and postponed their games till tomorrow, including the 2 teams we'll see next week, because we'll see Towanda and Wyalusing, the Bronze Helmet Trophy next week, as we take the crew up to Bradford County. And Towanda will play tomorrow, as will Wyalusing. So both those teams will have a short week going into next Friday's rivalry game. A cold, windy, rainy night. I mean, I came today, I left my house at 3 o'clock, it was 75 degrees. By the time I made the 20-minute ride to Peckville, it was already 61 degrees here. So just in that short amount of time, that front moved through, which we expected all day long. It just took a little while longer to get over here into Lackawanna County. So the kick goes deep to Evan Carey, and this time the special teams are there for
Evan Carey on the return for the Cougars.
Western Wayne. So it looks like the starting offense
Stop made by number 60, Braden McIntosh.
comes out.
Cougars will have first
We'll check
and 10
the
from the
line. We'll
34.
check that line of scrimmage. I think I saw a couple of extra numbers in there. Fuller's the quarterback's coming out.
I think Coach Juanes will start filling people in. I think what he'd like to do is get this over the 35-point mark. That way the clock runs. I think he's going to do that as a favor to some of the fans here, try to get the game a little faster as they brave the elements.
Pitch outside to Osborne, and just like he did on the second play of the game, big hole, big run. Jake Osborne, another touchdown. 67 yards.
Maybe Jake Osborne should be the new tailback for Valley View. He's only averaging 68 yards a carry. But again, up front, that's where the battle is won most of the time. Watch the pulling guard. That was Hudak. One missed tackle there, and then the speed of Osborne. Just too much for the Western Wayne secondary. Jake Osborne and the Valley View Cougars continue the theme tonight. Big plays, and boy, have they executed.
They're actually going to go for an extra point. Gillow in, and maybe that's why. Line drive kick, Osborne the hold, and may have not gotten the hold as well as he might have liked. So, first play of the second half goes all Valley View, and they lead now by 40 points, and we'll go into the mercy rule here at Henses Memorial Stadium. And not sure what Randy Wolf could have said to his team, but Aaron Dugan did chat with him. Aaron, what did Coach have to say?
Well, when Coach was coming out, I just kind of asked him about encouraging the kids and if he took anything out of that first half that he'd like to build on. And actually what just happened is what he did not want to happen. He said they have to focus on recognizing when those big plays are going to happen and shut them down. But he also did mention that he's still very proud of this group. He said they're really tough kids and they're going to still play hard and make them proud.
Hey, this is all part of the learning experience. A year from now, 2 years from now, it could be Valley View down by 40 points. You just don't know how this game plays out. We knew Valley View with the hottest team maybe in District 2, Chris, and Western Wayne kind of falling off since they started 5-1. So this is not too hard to expect.
Don't forget, Western Wayne's most likely going to be playing in the postseason, whether it's District 2 or maybe even an Eastern Conference berth. So they're still out there trying to execute, trying to get work done, trying new things maybe. So even though the scoreboard might read 40-0, they still have work to do.
Little squib kick. This will go out of bounds. And Western Wayne will bring out an offense trying to get some points on the board. Paul Sheehan, our referee tonight, and his crew, Joe Shaughnessy, Tom
Free
Finan.
kick out of bounds. Valley View. Ball be placed at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10.
Robert Geneleza, Tim Lavelle, John Sharota, and Mark Finan, your referee crew tonight on the Lackawanna Football Conference.
And you tip your hat not to just these officials, but all the ones in the area tonight. It's not an easy job standing out there in the cold rain. The players love it because they're football players, and this is what you do. You play football in bad weather, but the officials have to deal with it too, so they're doing a good job tonight.
Some new guys up front. Western Wayne takes a bit of an advantage of that as The sophomore Kobe Sauter shoots through for a nice gain of about 8. Up front, a couple of new guys in there.
Still some starters here for Valley View. Again, I think they're just going to start bringing them in here and there. Obviously, Western Wayne's going to stick with their first team offense here for a little while because they want to make sure that they have some success, something to build on for the next game against West Scranton.
Sauter on the carry.
Evans with a nice tackle. Was Evans banged up this year? I have him down for only 5 games.
1 yard loss
from the stats.
Third down and 3 from the 42.
They've rotated their linebackers a lot, and Evans has solidified a spot the last several weeks. The one thing Coach Hwanitz has been able to do is to move some players around and have less players going 2 ways, Bob, which, you know, can be very valuable even for some of the bigger schools. And so Evans has really played well here the past several weeks, and you've seen him make some plays tonight as well.
Well, there's one guy who's been making a lot of plays. Junior Sam Pitzman.
You know, Pitzman last year was in a learning process as a sophomore. He made a lot of mistakes, and he grew. And you're starting to see that pay off this year. A young player like that. Last week, he was outstanding in the win over North Pocono. He made more plays in that game than anybody else did on the defensive side of the ball for either team. And that's saying something considering that North Pocono linebacking core, which is one of the best in the areas.
Valley View blocks the punt. Good job.
Western Wayne
Number 86. Jalen Duplessis, a sophomore. 5'9", blocks the kick.
Cougars from the 27.
And you don't see that too often from Valley View because they're busy setting up returns for the carries and Osborne. But nice job by Duplessis, getting pressure and taking a good angle and managing to get a hand on it. He took the exact route you have to take, Bob. Not where the punter is, but where his foot is going to end up when he releases the ball. And you say Duplessis comes up with the football as well. Nice job by the sophomore.
Valley View calls a short timeout. This is to get the second team offense together. And that's who we will see come onto the field. Cougars up 40-0. So as we roll throughout this second half, we'll get Chris's opinion now on the district play. Williamsport, Delaware Valley, Scranton, Hazleton, all teams make the playoffs. Chris, give us your analysis.
Well, this is going to come down to Williamsport and Delaware Valley, who played a classic 3 weeks back, one of the best football games of the year. Delaware Valley winning at home 49-42. Just depends on where the rematch is going to be, Bob. Obviously, Williamsport has the edge right now. Delaware Valley could still sneak in to that one spot and get the home game, but Williamsport, Hazleton first round, Delaware Valley, Scranton first round. Those are going to be rematches of games that weren't very close during the regular season.
Williamsport ends next week, I believe, with Berwick, and they're beating Wyoming area handily tonight. Seth Fernan, the sophomore, with a nice carry, couple of yards for the 6'1" sophomore.
Got a walk on the stop for Western Wayne.
Up to about the 23.
New quarterback in the game as well, Jeremy Stanton, comes in for the Cougars, the junior.
Well, they get very good field position to begin this drive after the block punt. Fernan again.
Fernan on the carry.
Up near the 20 into the red zone.
Fernan is a kid who's got a lot of speed, track kid, has struggled with injuries last year and the beginning of this year. Eventually, Coach Hwanitz would like to see if he can be, along with Jones, a feature back, because obviously once the carries graduate and Osborne, and there's going to be a need for somebody to step up, and Vernon could be one of those players as we have an injury timeout as a Western Wayne player down on the field.
We don't want to go through these too fast, but we'll go right to 5A. Of course, go ahead. Abington, Valley West, and Wallenpaupack.
Actually, Valley West is the 6-2 team, so they right now would hold the top seed and a bye in the first round. Abington Heights and Wallenpaupack just played last week, Bob, and the Buckhorns struggled in that game, so that would most likely be the first round game. Abington Heights hosting Wallenpaupack. Valley West, who's up big tonight, would get a bye, and then the winner of the Comets and the Buckhorns would play the Valley West for the District 2 title, and then they would go play a District 11 team in the first round of the state playoffs. So out of the timeout, Cougars back on offense. There's Vernon again.
So Vernon takes a big hit inside to the 5-yard line. Pick of 18. And Valley View knocking on the door again.
Dylan Walk with the big hit. But Vernon again showing his shiftiness there. As you see him, he bounces a little hop through the hole, and Walk came over and gave him a nice shoulder, but the Cougars threatening to put more points on the board.
There's Stanton, the junior quarterback. Big push up front. And that's Dom Lupini, the junior, who takes it in for a Cougar touchdown. 4 yards for him. Valley View ups the lead now.
And again, you don't like to see games like this, Bob. We always like to see competitive games. But when you do see games that, the score gets to be like it is tonight, it's good to see some of these kids get on the field. And don't know if that's Lupini's first varsity touchdown or not, but it's something he'll always remember. And obviously, Valley View takes advantage of the block pump by Duplessis and puts another one on the scoreboard.
And a big applause for the extra point as Gillow puts it through, and 47-0 now. I guess the question I have is, we look at these standings, what is the difference between a bottom team like a Western Wayne who could make the district playoffs versus a North Pocono or Valley View? I mean, that differential between the top and the bottom is pretty wide as we look at the touchdown again.
It is. Don't forget, Bob, with the realignment, which was good for a lot of the state, going to 6 classifications. It wasn't, I don't think it was good for District 2, but they don't have a choice.
Nope.
You play along with the way the rules are written, but a lot of teams make the playoffs. I mean, and so you're going to get some teams that in the past would not be playoff worthy. Now, it's good from this standpoint. I'll give you an example, 4A, which we'll probably talk about in a little bit. Yeah, 8 teams are going to make the playoffs, but there's 6 pretty decent football teams in that group. Last year in 3A, which is kind of where the 4A teams were, 2 teams would have been left out. So from that standpoint, it's pretty good. But again, a lot of teams making the playoffs, and it's just the way it fell for District 2 this season.
A quick kick from Gillow. Rolls by the Western Wayne players. And bringing it up is Josh Patterson, a junior. And the Western Wayne Wildcats come back on now, down 47-0. Well, if you're Western Wayne now, you just want to get some points on the board going into West Scranton next week, which you'll host. Look in danger to going, if they lose next week, as you mentioned, ending the season 5-5 after they started 5-1.
But again, it's not a surprise, Bob, when you look at the schedule. It was the opposite for Valley View. They played some tougher games up front. Lakeland's a one-loss team. Delaware Valley is one of the best teams in District 2. Scranton has struggled since Jacob Watts went out, even though he has returned. But Valley View now, not an easy schedule, but teams they match up with better, and that's why you've seen them have success here in the second half of the season. Looks like there's a new quarterback in for Western Wayne, so Coach Wolf has decided, I'm going to take Scotty Walk out and make sure he doesn't get hurt. Because again, West Grant is a big game. They get him at home. It'll be senior day, and you don't want to see your star quarterback go out, especially with postseason still a very distinct possibility for the Wildcats.
Saw him one play last half. Jake Coons, a sophomore, is the signal caller for Western Wayne. Straight ahead handoff. A couple of new players up front as well, getting some experience. And really getting a shot to be on TV too, which they may never get again.
And Randy Wolf said that to me before the game. He said that, you know, the early success in the season has given them this opportunity. Although, again, when you look at the scoreboard, it wasn't exactly how the kids would have liked it to play out. But to have that respect to be chosen to play on television and have their family see them, and that's a big deal for some of these kids. And we haven't seen Western Wayne in that situation in the past.
Recovered by Western Wayne.
By the way, my thighs are really cold.
So here come
I'm shaking.
some of the special teams again on a fourth down play.
And again, the JV teams, as we like to call them, just getting some experience here. And obviously, both coaches do not want to see players who are going to make an impact week 10 and beyond get injured. So that's why already with under 4 minutes, Cougars almost blocked another one.
I know.
Special teams has been very well played tonight for the Cougars. And that's the kid that blocked the punt.
Yeah, Duplessis.
Who took the ball. 3:36 remaining in this third quarter. For all Valley View from the second play of the game. So a lot of big plays tonight by the Cougars. And the rain has continued to fall throughout since that opening kick. Already in week 9, Chris, and I guess it hasn't played out how we thought. It goes by so fast, and you know we're all big on making making predictions in preseason.
The ball carrier. Flag on the play.
Flag comes in.
It does go by fast, Bob, and obviously you and me are both deeply involved with it, the planning that goes into it, and I'm always excited around this time of the year to get to the postseason because you kind of have figured it out now. You figured out who the good teams are, who the teams who have a potential to maybe make a run, not just through the district playoffs, but into the state playoffs.
Which we've had success with in District 2.
No doubt, especially with the smaller schools. And that trend will probably continue.
Novachowski, sophomore, number 4.55 player, comes up a little bit dirty. He'll have to wash the uniform tomorrow.
First and 10 Cougars from the 26.
They're up to the 26-yard line. Clock continues to roll here in Peckville on a rainy, turned out to be a cold night.
Far cry from earlier in the week when it was summer-like conditions.
Even earlier today, around noontime in the Scranton area anyway. I know in our western viewing area, a lot of rain last couple days. That's why they had to cancel some Northern Tier games. District 4 is playing. A lot of teams out there. Sealands Grove, Shikellamy area are getting their games in. So I think the rain taking effect now on some of our audio. Some of our microphones, and continue to play on. Minute left here in the third quarter. Stan gonna roll it out. It's gonna be chased down. Flag comes in. Clock will continue to roll. Clock stops. I thought the referee made the signal to roll. Goes against Valley View on a hold.
Coach, you like this, correct?
Look at the replay again, Chris.
It's actually a nice run by Stanton. Broke to the outside there, and again, blocking the back by one of the Cougars. But Stanton, the backup quarterback, a junior, getting some time here tonight and doing a good job running the offense for Valley View. And this will probably be the last play of the third quarter, Bob, unless we get a penalty or a touchdown.
Ball's on the turf, recovered by Western Wayne.
Recovered by Western Wayne.
See if I can get a number for that young man. I think it was 60. Braden McIntosh, a junior, comes up with a recovery for Western Wayne.
And you haven't seen Valley View make too many mistakes tonight.
A wet ball, though. They didn't get the handoff.
No doubt. That's a factor as the third quarter is going to expire here, Bob. And Valley View cruising along.
They are. Cougars looks like they're going to go to 5-4 on the year with another win. One more quarter to go, though. All Valley View here at home.
You're watching the Rivalry of the Week on MyTV WQMY, presented by Wendy's.
Enjoy an evening of great music this Sunday as Keystone College Performance Music presents its fall concert, The Path We Choose, at 7 p.m. in Brooks Theater. Music featuring Keystone Symphonic Band, Jazz Ensemble, Choral at Keystone, and Keystone Chamber Singers. The hour-long family-friendly concert is free. For more information, visit them on Facebook or call them today.
We are back at John Hens's Veterans Memorial Stadium in Peckville. Bob Ide, Chris Kaharski, Aaron Dugan is somewhere, probably staying dry at this point and warm. There's all Valley View tonight. One of the hottest teams out there in the league. They pretty much took this one, control of the game in the first quarter, a couple of touchdowns. And now we're seeing some of the backup players in.
And if you remember, Bob, Valley View scored early on the big play. And then Western Wayne got a couple stops defensively. So really the turning point was the fake punt, because that kind of took some of the air out of the Western Wayne balloon there after they had some, what I would call mental victories.
Well, they did, and they were going to have good field position if they punted. But give credit to George Hwanitz. He put the gas on right from the beginning, didn't let up, sped down the highway, and wanted to take it in for a big win, and that's exactly what his team has done tonight.
Danny Boots getting the carry again for Western Wayne.
First and 10 from the 40.
So that was, looked like 30 had the ball.
44 in the carry for Western Wayne.
Excuse me, 24. Bailey Walk. He's a junior. He'll be back next year along with his brother. Scott Walk will move on.
It'll be interesting once Scott Walk moves on and graduates. Do one of the brothers switch over to quarterback? Now, Walk was a receiver as a freshman to start the season, as we're getting a big run here by the Wildcats.
Yeah, this is Boots, number 30. And he brings it up into Cougar territory. Nice run by him.
And
20 yards.
And I have no inside knowledge on that. I'm just wondering out loud because obviously the Walks are a pretty good football family.
Yep. Well, this is all going to go in the experience book. If they do get in the Eastern Conference playoffs, or any kind of playoff, extra practice time can be very beneficial. Games like this can help a Wildcat team and Randy Wolf fight on. He has 39 players now.
Referees will blow it dead.
9 of those players, Chris, are seniors. So it gets 30 players back. You figure a freshman team may be in there, too, as well. So good numbers for Western Wayne, even at the AAA level. Here we see this play again.
Mason Cordish coming up to make the play for Valley View. That's Boots again, Bob. That's he's doing
the workhorse now.
Carrying the heavy load for the Wildcats as clock continues to wind.
Third down on the way. No real big upsets around the area tonight, Chris, from what we can tell. A lot of blowouts, quite frankly.
Yeah, the one interesting game we've been keeping an eye on in District 2 tonight was the Riverside-Lackawanna Trail game. Right now, Riverside leads that game 21-18 up in Tunnel Hill. So why that is kind of a big deal, Bob, is for 1A. Because Northwest won last night. It's going to be Northwest and Lackawanna Trail for the 1A championship game. And obviously, you'd like to play that on your home field. And so they're still fighting out for that.
And they've already played this year, and really Trail took it to them at home at Tunnel Hill. Here you see the play again. Nice job on the outside by the defense. Colin Burke, number 88, with the tackle. So a 4th down call. Coons has some room. He picks up a 1st down and more. Good run by the quarterback.
Number 18, Alex Kua on the carry.
This is Alex Kua, number 18, who had the carry.
Yeah, nice job by Kua. I think that was a planned pass, and he just saw some room in front of him and was able to get past one Cougar defender and move the chains for the Wildcats. So they'll keep possession here, and right now your goal is try to avoid the shutout.
And there you see Randy Wolf continues to coach. Looks like Kua, who is listed as a running back, is taking the signal calling duties. And Mike Tomasetti, a sophomore, he carries the ball. Julian Hall with some running room to the outside is knocked out of bounds.
Julian Hall on the carry over the left side to Western Wayne.
So this is good to see. We saw Valley View's backup players have some success in the 3rd quarter. Now we're seeing Western Wayne move the ball with their JV players. And again, like you mentioned, Bob, it's a learning process. It's getting these kids experience, getting them a chance to be on TV. It's all good. It's what you want to see in high school football.
They're at the 11, so they can pick up a 1st down right inside the 1. Hall again. Puts his head down. Up to about the 6. Aaron Howe has a preview of tonight's sports show. Aaron.
Yeah, Bob, tonight's sports show is going to be a good one. Next week, our live sports crew, we're going to hit the road. We're going all the way to Towanda because they're taking on Wyalusing in the Bronze Helmet Bowl. It's a big rivalry game. Towanda had it for many years. Wyalusing took it back last year. So this year, Tawanda's trying to get it back. That's going to be a great game, and we'll break that preview down. We're also going to talk with Brianna Pisano. She was the first female or male athlete at Wyoming area to win a District 2 AA tennis title this past week. We'll speak with her. We'll also get to know Hunter Thomas, the running back from Southern Columbia. And the Lock Haven Band will be on the show. They had a really fantastic performance last week that we got to tape. So it's all tonight at 11, Bob.
Should be pretty exciting. That's coming up on the sports show. You also can see the sports show here on MyTV WQMY. I believe that's tomorrow morning. So Valley View is not, Western Wayne is knocking on the door. They're at the 5 and a third down play on the way. Trying to put some points on the board, and there's a ball on the turf, and it is recovered by the Cougars. Oh, an unfortunate happening there for Western Wayne. Wanted to see if they score, and unfortunately the wet ball, I think, cost them.
Yeah, it's too bad because they were moving the ball pretty well that time, again with the second team players, and you don't like to see a team get shut out. Hoping those kids, maybe one of them get a varsity touchdown, but Valley View was right there. Their kids pounced on the football, and the Cougars will get the ball back with their backs against the wall. Of course, up 47-0, that's not a big deal.
Oh, Western Wayne trying to get some players on late. Mason Courtney, the up back, gets the ball. He's got some running room. Breaks a couple tackles and gets outside to about the 29-yard line. Nice run for him. So let's take a look at the District 2 4A standings now. And this is where Valley View, and Chris mentioned, 8 teams get in the 4A standings. Berwick is winning tonight, but they play Williamsport next week. So 8 teams get in, and you say wide open. Why?
Well, I don't think there's a dominant team in 4A. Yes, Wyoming area, they're going to lose tonight for the second time. They played a pretty tough schedule, but that's a Wyoming Valley Conference schedule. It's hard to gauge how good the Wyoming Valley Conference teams are compared to the Lackawanna Conference teams. For most of the year, at a lot of the levels, the Lackawanna Conference teams have looked to be a little bit of a higher level, but we won't know that in 4A till we actually get to the playoffs. But I really think those top 6 you saw there, I think any one of those 6 could win the district title. I think there's a couple favorites. I think North Pocono's a favorite. I got to be honest with you, I think Valley View has really upgraded themselves to where they could actually end up with a 3 seed, and would not shock me if they got to the district championship. They have been playing that good lately. But West Scranton is a dangerous team, and obviously Berwick is Berwick. So it really is wide open with those 6 teams. And the best part about it, Bob, we're going to see 2 really good quarterfinal games. We're going to see 2 really good semifinal games, and we're going to see a great championship game. And that makes it worthwhile getting the 8 teams into the playoffs.
Here's 3A now. Prep the overwhelming favorite. Lehman is losing to Berwick. Western Wayne is losing here. Myers played last night, right? They lost to Northwest. So, I mean, there's 4 teams that get in. Prep's the overwhelming favorite. Who's the other 3? We don't know.
Lake Lehman has Dallas next week, which is only won 1 game. I think the Black Knights are going to get in. To be honest with you, Bob, I think Western Wayne might sneak in. Even if they lose next week to West Scranton, Myers has to beat GAR next week, and Hanover has to beat Nanticoke. Those are 2 rivalry games, so anything could happen. But really, Scranton Prep is the class of 3A right now. If the Cavaliers don't win the district title, Bob, it will be a major upset.
Some nice running there from Josh Patterson on the tackle for Western Wayne.
Bob, while we have a quick second, I'd just like to throw a shout out to Coach Stan Koharski, my father, who is watching the game tonight from home. He just had some knee surgery, and he's doing very well. I'd like to thank everybody for all the well wishes they have given to my father. Of course, he was here in the booth with you.
A couple weeks ago, yep.
He's doing fine, though, and he'll be back on his feet before you know it. And so, Dad, we love you, and we're glad you're doing well.
Couple more plays. After they're going to run this one down. And we'll take a quick look at the 2A standings. As they'll take a knee. Quickly, the 2A standings. Dunmore the favorite. You mentioned it before. Probably going to be Dunmore, Lakeland, Riverside. Is it Mid-Valley or Susquehanna?
Mid-Valley's beaten Susquehanna 33-0, so that's going to put the Spartans in. And Mid-Valley Dunmore will be the first round match of Lakeland Riverside, which could be interesting, but most likely we're going to see Dunmore Lakeland in a rematch for the 2A championship.
Okay, and there we go. This will end it here. Valley View with an overwhelming win over Western Wayne. The final scores 47-0. Aaron and the crew will talk to a players of the game and the winning coach when we return here to John Hens' Memorial Stadium.
You're watching the Rivalry of the Week on MyTV WQMY, presented by Wendy's.
Some happy Cougars. They moved to 5-4 on the year. A big win over Western Wayne. And Aaron Dugan has our players of the game.
That's right, Bob. Our players of the game, Jake Osborne and Evan Carey. Jake, we'll start with you. First of all, do you guys like playing in this weather?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty nice. A little relaxing when you get kind of hot, cools off. It's kind of nice.
You guys had some fantastic plays. You made some video game mode runs or some pass plays going into the first half. Everything seemed to just be clicking offensively.
I got to give it to line. They blocked great. And I got to give it to my quarterback, too, putting the ball there and then basically just running after that.
The trajectory of this season has just been, it's been all over the place. You know, you started out 0-3. You guys have been playing fantastic. What's the emotions of the team right now?
Just fighting through adversity. Everyone counted us out after week 3, but we just buckled down. We came back. And that Cougar pride, that's what kicked in.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Evan, we speak a little bit about that Cougar pride. It was very evident tonight. Tell me how your team did tonight.
All I got to say is Cougar pride never dies. Our line blocked great. Our quarterback threw terrific.
Fantastic offense, and defense seems to be like the backbone of this team. Do you see that?
Oh, it is, no matter what. Our offense played good, though. Our defense made great stops, forced a lot of turnovers, and came up big.
So how far can this team go this year?
We would like to go to the district title, win the district title.
Well, great job tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Bob, I am definitely ready to come and get dry.
Boy, you really weathered the rain tonight, Aaron. Unbelievable. Come in, get dry. You and Tyler down there on the cameras. So, Chris, final thought?
Well, Valley View is playing great football right now on both sides of the ball, special teams as well. Coach Hawanitz and his staff did a good job not to panic. They found the right formula, after the first 3 weeks of the season. And like I said earlier in the broadcast, Bob, this team did not have an identity at the beginning of the season. I think you're seeing one now, and the Cougars are going to be a threat in 4A. There's no doubt about it in District 2.
So here's our schedule the rest of the way. Crew will get dried off, and then we'll make our way to Towanda next week for the Bronze Helmet Trophy game. Wyalusing and Towanda, both of those teams were postponed tonight with their other games, so they'll actually play tomorrow. Then Friday, November 4th, we'll be in District 4 for an opening round game. Then back here for a District 2 championship on Friday the 11th. And then on Saturday, November 12th, we'll have the Mayor's Cup game for the 10th straight year on Fox TV. Back over on Fox, Kings and Wilkes, that will kick off at noon. Well, great job by our crew tonight weathering this rain. And as expected, it is pouring here in Peckville. So for the entire crew, for Aaron Dugan, for Chris Kaharski, thanks for joining us. This is Bob Hyde saying so long from a wet John Hens' Veterans Memorial Stadium.
You're watching the Rivalry of the Week on MyTV WQMY.